Romelin here, back with part 2 of the remodel on our very first lot in the series. And we are now at my absolute favorite part of building, which is the furnishing and decorating of the build. This is where I take the most time and care on the builds just to make sure everything looks absolutely perfect with the layout we created in our last video. So starting off with our kitchen, I plan to furnish this with the idea that we'd have it open with an island to separate it from the rest of the main room, which you'll see here I do accomplish after finding the right color scheme, and we end up going with a similar wood to what we have on our flooring, which I think matches pretty well, along with the white countertops to take accent from the trim and the crown molding. From the fridge and stove I end up choosing, you can see I am a sucker for stainless steel. I hope eventually they'll add in a couple more options to match, maybe some black stainless steel or a little darker than the silver we have now, but I think for this build it works out pretty well. For future builds though, I would like to see a couple more options to keep that stainless steel and not go completely white. And then with the island here, you can see I'm trying to see if I can widen it out a bit to cover a little more real estate in the kitchen, but trying to free roam the counters ended up not leveling out at the end of the island, so we scratched that idea and just kept with the single counter width. It was just not working out, and I wanted it to work out so much because I felt the heavier width of the island would make it look a lot better, but in the end that's perfectly fine, and I'm sure if you guys have some suggestions to do that, you guys can definitely comment. I am more than open to some criticism or some tips to help the builds along as we move forward. And this is where some new stainless steel colors would come in handy if we could get some, as I try to find a range hood for the stove, trying to find the right color to match with the stainless steel that we do have with the stove. Was a little hard, but I think the one that I chose looks good enough for now until we can get some better ones in the future. And the windows just ended up not working where they were. I wanted to make sure we had enough, as much natural light as we can, but I do like the top counters that we ended up choosing, so those definitely had to be moved. I'm pretty sure one of them I end up just scrapping altogether, or is it both? Do we scrap both? Nope, I think we leave that one there, but we do add some lights in there as well to kind of keep it bright with the dark wall, so I think it's a nice trade-off to make sure that we can add those upper counters to the kitchen. So now with the basics of the kitchen down, we can start making it a little more decorated and homey. I absolutely love those stools we chose as they accent with the dark blue walls and all the little trinkets the base pack provides. It really makes the kitchen decorating easy in my opinion. I would definitely love some more, but for what we get with the game, I never have a hard time cluttering up what I need to in this part of the house. And what I do wish we had was some more options for flowers that fit on the counters without having to use the float sheets and whatnot, but we end up finding some that fit pretty nicely to clutter up the island a little bit as well, and you'll see here in just a few minutes I do that. We made sure to add a bin. I always make sure that there's a bin in the kitchen because that's just realistic. You always want to have a trash can in there for any trash, or when you're cooking, and it's definitely a necessity. So okay, so now we're starting the dining room. Here's where we are trying to match with the stools we chose for the island. It was a little difficult finding a combo that worked here. We start out with a similar wood table to the floors, but I didn't like the design of that table, so we tried going a little lighter, and we do start with some wood chairs to go with the table, but it just doesn't work at all, so you'll see that I scrapped that idea. Tried some others, but in the end we do go with the matching chairs to the stools that we chose. We don't use the dark blue, but we kept the metal framing of it to match, and it does work out pretty well. So it's what we had to work with, and I think it looks the best with what we had to choose from. Yeah, see the dark blue just didn't match because it had that dark wood element, and with having the light floors, I just felt it didn't really match. And I guess you could say, well, realistically things aren't always perfect and matchy in every home, but being the perfectionist that I am, when we have something that matches better, my philosophy is you might as well go with that. In real life, that's obviously not always going to be the case, but this is The Sims, so if I can make it match the best, I definitely will. Here's where you see I tried those wood floors, and to me it looked a little too old school for the more modernish build that we were going for. So I leave it there for a second, I take it in a little bit, but we do end up scrapping those. Yep, you see here I do end up scrapping them. We do end up going with the chairs, like I said, that match the stools, but we keep the light tannish vibe to it. We don't go for that dark blue. And now onto the rug. This is where I was a little frustrated, especially with making those huge rugs smaller, because I really do love that rug. I have no idea why, for some reason, that rug wouldn't go where I needed it to go, but I was so disappointed because I really thought that it looked perfect with the color scheme, but it didn't, and it just didn't work out. I have no idea why it was telling me that the terrain wasn't level, and that was the reason why I couldn't use it. So super disappointing, but we end up finding a rug that it it does the job. It matches with everything, so it works. I wish we could have gone with that other rug, but for now it looks the best with what we're capable of doing. And of course we have to add our curtains in there just to make sure that no peeping toms come and stare into our house when they want to. So we definitely have to put some curtains up, and we do so in the rest of the house as well shortly when we get to each of the rooms. So now we are getting to the living room, and it flows so well with the main room. I'm so happy the way it turned out, even with all the small free roam tweaking that we had to do that you'll see here shortly, to make sure the chairs weren't in the way. We do try to go with the small love seat. Doesn't end up working, so we do go with the chairs, and once we get that kind of tweaked, it works out perfectly. So well, let's let this keep going a little bit further. Yeah, you'll see that I'm trying to make it so that it flows well, but it doesn't end up squished because we do end up adding a coffee table. So we didn't want it to squish into the coffee table too much, but we also didn't want it to take up too much real estate so that, you know, people can get from the bedroom to the kitchen to the dining room with no issue. We didn't end up testing it. I didn't really feel a need to. If you guys would like me to test out my builds, definitely leave a comment, let me know, and I can add that into these videos in the future. But for now, we don't really test everything out to make sure that they're practical. But we do it for the looks, so it definitely looks good. I really love that coffee table. And I wish that I could get that in my real life living room. So that's probably my favorite coffee table in the entire base game pack that we have. So it looks really nice too with the light blue and tan color scheme that we have for the living room. And here we're just trying to find some clutter to add to that coffee table to make it, again, homey and not super clear. We want to make this look as if, you know, people are actually living in it. So adding as much clutter as we can without making it too unrealistic. And here we're trying to find a nice rug to fit in with the couches to make it look nice and pretty. We do spend a little bit of time trying to find the right one, and here's again where I wish we could use that rug that we tried fitting in the dining room, but that didn't end up working either. So we do what we can, we find what matches and go with that for now. And here you can see I'm just trying to add some lighting so that it's not just the ceiling lights that we have there. So we add a little lamp in there, and then we can start getting to covering those big spaces of wall on either side of the TV with some nice paintings and basic wall art, so it didn't look so bland in there. You do see we tried adding a little bit of greenery as well. So that's what we're doing here, just to decorate it a little bit and spruce it up. I love those two small paintings that we end up putting on the left side, especially with this kind of color scheme that I typically go with. I love the light wood. It matches the couch so well. And here you can see that, you know, doing this on those walls led me to adding some greenery and decoration to the main room in general. And here we make sure that we add a chandelier. We add some greenery to the dining room table, some paintings on the wall to keep everything from looking bare. So we do decorate that up a bit as well. I did like that bookcase. It was just a little too big for that small of a corner, because we didn't just want the bookcase to be there. We wanted to clutter it up a little bit. So I think that bookcase, the metal along with a light wood, matched the entire aesthetic that we were going for. Added a little bit of greenery in there too. And once we got to decorating the main room, it led me into the foyer, so that we can add some more homey touches. You do see we'll add some shoe racks, wall art, and a table so you don't walk into an empty room. You'll see I did want to try to use that more rusticy chandelier. I love that chandelier, but I don't think that it meshed well in this case, but you will find in the future that I use that chandelier a lot, and potentially in our next build, but for now it didn't mesh, and we ended up using the same chandelier that we used in the dining room. I tried going with that same side table there to match the coffee table in the living room. It just didn't go with the floors, so we ended up going with something different. I think we ended up going with something white to match the trim in there as well. And then you do see that I take away the shoe racks for a minute to try to find something lighter than the dark wood, but there wasn't anything really to choose from. So again, I tried to calm myself down a little bit with that. I tried not to be a perfectionist and just say, you know what, it's more realistic that way anyway. Again, like I've said before, you're not always going to find everything that matches perfectly. So if it looks good and it doesn't look too out of place, why not use it? And here you'll see that we try to add a mirror, add a little bit of wall art as well to these walls. Again, I'm so bad with the camera work and everything to make sure that I can see things properly. So I apologize if you see me kind of moving around a lot to try to make sure that I get the right angle to see things well, to make sure that we can add the clutter and everything to the table, as well as those walls in that tiny little space, which you'll see here shortly. And now onto the main bathroom. After we add in a curtain to cover up the window, since it is on the front of the house, we don't want people walking by to just see what we're doing in the bathroom. I definitely wanted to make sure it was a shower and bath combo, since in the master bath, which you saw in the layout and you'll probably see here shortly as well, we can only comfortably fit a shower in there, so we went with a nice porcelain bathtub and a shower next to it to make it a combo shower bath. And after that, and after adding the toilet, we went with cabinets versus just a faucet. I do love using cabinets for the bathroom, and we went with a blue accents with some whites with to match the gray a little bit better. So so once we get that and the faucet on there, since I knew that we wouldn't be doing much in that master bathroom, this time around we made sure that there were plenty of clutter in the bathroom. Plenty of hand towels, bath towels, and just anything you might typically find on a family's bathroom counter, as well as a small trash can and toilet paper roll that you'll see next to the toilet here shortly. I wanted to go with a floor-to-ceiling mirror. It didn't end up working in this bathroom for me, so we just opted for the same mirror that we used in the foyer. You'll see again some hand towels here that we try fitting right next to the faucet, so you can wash your hands when you're done, or dry your hands when you're done washing them. And then in a minute or two, you'll see me add some nice clutter to the countertops. And adding some lights and some bath mats and rugs as some finishing touches. And once that's all put in, I think our bathroom looks great and we can jump on to the next thing, which is the side bedroom, I believe. Yep, the side bedroom. Now with this bedroom, I wanted to try to go with a nice green theme to break from the dark blues and grays. And I may have gone a little bit overboard. You'll see shortly I make a lot green in here, which probably isn't super realistic, again, to have super matchy bedroom decorations, but that's alright. I mean, I imagine The Sim just to be in love with the color green, and I know when I was growing up I had my favorite color strewn about my bedroom, so that's what we ended up working with in this build. And with the basics of the bedroom done, with it looking super bare, I tried imagining again what the Sim living in this bedroom would be like. So I ended up imagining that the Sim owning this bedroom is a bit of an artsy person. So we also added in an easel here, and some finished canvases strewn about the room to add some character too. Can't forget the curtains though first, of course. I figured we'd make the wall art in here too a little colorful as well, since she is an artsy person. So it's not just green. We do add a lot of color um, for that as well. But again, I do still think I went a little overboard with the green. But again, that's all right. And finally, we move back to the house and we get to the master bedroom. So here you'll see that I'm trying to find a nice double bed to fit in with the white wood, but make it for a couple and not just a single sim that has an obsession with green. You'll see that I couldn't end up finding a nice framed wood to match with that light green that I enjoyed. So we decided to take a break from the light wood because I really liked some of the colors and designs of the double beds that had a darker frame. So I chose a dark wood. You'll see here in a minute to complement that a bit better. And I think that the dark wood in here, again, it takes a break from all of the lightness that we have in the rest of the house. And of course here we added some nightstands on either side to match that dark wood frame. I think the floors look absolutely beautiful with the bed that we ended up choosing, and those nightstands, again, they match absolutely perfectly. And then from those nightstands, you can see that they're a little more fancy. So with that, I kind of took that theme over and made this entire room fancy after choosing that. So we really dove in with that throughout the entire room. You can see with the dressers, we chose the matching ones to the nightstand. We end up adding a full mirror in there that also has that fancy antique look. And the extra space for a couch and a coffee table, you'll see, has the same antique look and feel to it. It's the theme that I ended up choosing, and I never really know what theme I'm going to make the bedrooms until I dive in. I try to use as much of the base pack as I can and not choose the same exact stuff. So in the next build, we will probably steer clear of the stuff that we chose in this one as much as possible, just to kind of spruce things up and make things a little different in that one than this one, and try not to stick with the same palettes and stuff. But for this one, we do get fancy. You'll see the couch that we choose is the antique couch, one of the antique couches, I suppose, that matches the bedspread a little bit on the bed, as well as a nice fancy coffee table to match with the nightstands and dresser. And of course, again, we make sure to add some clutter to the surfaces of this room to make it look as lived in as possible. Um, and once we're done with that, you'll see that we move on to the master bedroom. Or, not master bedroom, master bathroom. And here we go. We hop into the small master bath to add the necessities only. We decided to leave it pretty clean considering it was so small, and I didn't want to make it even smaller by adding a bunch of things on the walls and on the floor that really doesn't have a lot of space to begin with. So we just add a shower in there, like I said earlier, in these decorations, and just a nice faucet to match the bedroom aesthetic, and a toilet to match as well. And that's the that's basically all that we have going in the master bathroom for us, which again is totally fine because we did spruce up the other one to make sure that at least one bathroom we could use some of the clutter and stuff that we had. So and once we do that, I mean, the interior is fully complete. I do make sure to add in some decorations to the front yard, which you'll see here in these screenshots. I did that off camera to make this video a little shorter, with a couple trees, hedges, and flowers, and made sure to add some lighting for nighttime as well as a trash bin and mailbox. I just love the way that this house turned out from where it started. I wish I would have taken screenshots of the before looks so we can put them side by side, but I completely forgot, and I'll try to remember for our next remodel. Yeah, so here are the screenshots that I could provide. I'm not really good with doing the video walks. I can't get the angles to look right, so we do just go for the screenshots for now. But yeah, at the end I make sure to add an aerial view to see the full layout with the furnishing for you guys. I know it helps me comprehend the layout, so I wanted to make sure that was added in. And with that, we have completed our first remodel of the series. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Tell me how I did, maybe what house you'd like to see next, and we will start our build next week. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.